Welcome to a new test and teardown video. This one is definitely also going to be a repair video. So here is a Rohde Schwarz CCVS component generator. So it's for video signals. It also got RGB. And this is of course the component and then composite. And then there is a cable to the rear. If you look at the state of this unit, it is in a condition I would call like new. Wow, how nice and beautiful that is. I just spent like 10 minutes washing and polishing and removing little dirty finger marks and tiny little spots, because I really wanted to show you a really nice and beautiful picture. Well, one of my buddies just bought this one. I think it was on eBay or something like that, and it actually worked. And he was super duper happy for a couple of days, and then suddenly, well, there was a very nasty smell, and now there is no output. It actually powers up, but there's just no output. So this is the fault description. So I think we should just open and do a very good, deep going visual. Maybe there's something to find. Oh, let's just look at the rear. Well, there's so many connectors and all the cool things here at the back. Of course, we also got IEEE. We got everything here in a very interesting type of a BNC connector as well. So they mount those from the outside, and then the screws, they come from the inside. So they are a little bit special, by the way. And also, note this little detail here, so you can pull these out and add extra length. And that is, of course, so you can still put this on the floor, standing here on those rear feet, and then still have space for your BNC connectors and cables here. Isn't that, yeah, look at that. Yeah, really nice and smart. So now we're inside this fantastic unit, and look how packed it is. There's even room for one more little expansion module or something like that. And when I took off the lid, I could definitely smell something weird, burned kind of smell. And I think it was a tantalum capacitor smell. So that is what I think I will try and hunt down. Also, this type of capacitor here, well, they are world famous for blowing up and shorting and creating all sorts of problems. And they are more than 20 years old or something like that, right? So we should definitely change all those capacitors as well. And if you look down here in the power supply, there's one more. Oh, a lot. Damn it, it's impossible here. A few more here. Nice transformer. And that one is, see, loose. They are all over the place, those capacitors. Yeah, I can really smell it again here. So it's actually quite powerful. I tried to take my nose down between all the different modules to see if there was any way that I could imagine where it would be stronger or something like that. It could just be a really cool idea to see where to go first, but I can't really smell if it's here or here or here. Where is it really? So I just have to open all the modules one by one. But I have another little idea maybe. Here is the front panel with all the connectors that goes to the front. And you can see the coax cables from the front. They go down here in this groove on the side. And I can also see where they go to what modules. So my idea is to look inside those modules that got coax cables from the front. I mean, maybe they are related to output and the output is missing. So maybe this is where we should try and hunt down the problem. Also, look at this really cool design with the colored locking thingies here, right? They're different. So that means when you pull out the modules, you always know where to put them. I really love that. So I took off the back, or the bottom cover, obviously, so we can see all the coax cables that goes to and from. Oi, oi, oi. There's a lot of these, so you need to cut these and then pull them, and they're probably very good marked, and there will probably also be a marker on the circuit board somewhere, so you know how to put these in. So this is not super easy to go inside those modules, so this is going to be a little bit of a service challenge. Look at that big motherboard with all the connectors and good things. This one I find a little bit funny. What exactly is this doing? This is funny. I think we got a lot of signals that needs to cross some other signals. You can see the other signals down there. So to be able to do that, of course they need to add ground VS so that the signal have a good ground reference. But it looks really, really weird. And here is, that will be power supply tracks that goes here, and they split up to supply all the different modules. But look at that, some more tantalum capacitors. They don't really look like they are blown up. But what about this one? Can you see there's a little piece of metal? And it was there from the beginning. You can even see a little mark where it fell. And it's somebody was cutting it somehow. So maybe we can try and touch this and see if it's gonna fall. See, ooh, those are sharp. So if I touch this, ooh, here you go, now it's loose. This is a quality issue, guys. You should inspect a little bit better. You are not going to believe what I just found. So I'm using my meter here and just checking the voltages on the tantalums here, and if they go up or down, or if they're charging correctly. You can easily see there's something weird on the nets. So while I'm measuring around here and here and here, then I just accidentally touch this red wire, and look at that. What is this? This one is not. Why is this always out of focus? It's driving me nuts. Look at that. I think this is the problem. So the first of the many plug-in modules, as you see here, the one closest to the front is the CPU card. And in this module, there is a little battery here, a 3.6 cell lithium backup for the static RAM here, and this contains all sorts of calibrations and settings and whatnot. And unfortunately, when I measure the voltage on this one, it says 0.1 volts. Darn it. So I need to replace this one. It's probably also related to the missing output, maybe. We got also a lot of information written here on this one, and it says something about if you change this battery, you need to do this and this and this. So you need to click all these soft keys doing exactly this. So I will definitely try and do that. And it also here says something about some calibration lines and whatnot for the output. Interesting. And what else can we say about this fantastic CPU board? Now look at the CPU. It's an 88C186. Copyright 1978 by Intel. And we got some dynamic RAM. We got a little interface chip, and we got software in for EPROMs. And that is more or less all about the CPU card. And the CPU card was easy to pull out because it's just using those two connectors like that in the motherboard. I can't really pull out any of the other boards because they are, as you saw on the previous little video clip, really hard connected with those coax connectors. And again, we got all the cable binders and all that kind of stuff with all those cables, and I really don't want to pull them, but I can only do a tiny little visual inspection here, and I see a lot of those capacitors again. So I'm a little bit sad about that. I need to do that. It's a lot of work. Maybe I can pull them up just a little bit so that we can see if there is any blown up capacitors in case I haven't fixed the problem. I think I'll try and see if I can buy a brand new one of these little half AA backup batteries, and then I'll get back. I'll take a permanent marker and add a big positive here, so I always know how to mount this little cell here. Alright, I just happens to have a little bit of these Teardown lithium cells, and they got, of course, 3.6 volts. So let's try and put this together. It's always a little bit fun to do these power-ups together. Maybe we should dim the light a little bit, maybe. Let's see what happens. I really love this on-off switch with this on indication right there, or off, of course. So now you know it's off. So let's plug in mains, and we don't see any power usage, and that is of course because we have this big hefty mains transformer. That means everything is powered off, and that is why we power it on here. Look at the output, it's going a little bit berserkers. Error. Press any key to continue. Press setup data, yes. Now it's doing all sorts of... Oh, look at that! We got a nice output, and this looks like video signals. And it's doing everything fine. I'll go and get a monitor. Let's see if this is exactly what we want. So just before we go and find the monitor, I can show you this little detail here. So this is definitely a nice video signal, and here's the color burst and all that is nice. Let's try the same power up with a little monitor connected and see what is going on here. Will it go all by itself? Okay, so there is error at just values. Synchronization is not calibrated. So we need to do that and probably save some calibrations somehow. And look at that! We got the test picture there. Oh, nice, but that is a really beautiful test picture. There's probably a million cool test patterns and all that kind of stuff. I need to go and read all about that. It's actually a little bit sad to see that it works this well, this easy, because I'm really not going to open all the different modules to show you all the cool and fantastic designs in this one, because it's just way too time consuming to poke everything apart when it is actually working this well. Have you ever seen a test signal doing this? I mean, wow, what do you think? What do you think that looks like on a screen? Oh, you gotta see this. So it's doing the funky circle zoom. Wow, man. And it can of course do a million cool things. And on all those different screens of where you want to do all the funky patterns, there is a setup for it where you can modify all the details that generates this picture. Wow, I'm really impressed. Of course, you can just read the manual and see all the cool things this unit can do, but it can also do time codes. And as you probably know, here at the start of the picture, we have all those time codes, and you can see the bits. Oh, let's see if I can get this into focus. You can see the individual bits that goes blinkety blinky here, We're actually counting in a binary system, and that is some of those timecode signals it can also generate. Some of them are really, really beautiful. I haven't seen those before, actually, on any of the other mini funky testers I've been playing with. This is just some of the pages, and there are a nice explanation about what kind of this and that, and what is it doing, and why, and la 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 la. That was the, yeah, we already seen those. Vector scope, gray, blah blah blah. I think we have been through them. I think we call this the Philips, isn't it? And this was the default one. Oh, so this one is called Mac. And the circle. Those are classic. Ooh. Now we're in, oh, that is the 69 funky modes. What else have we got? It just goes on and on. I don't know how many funky white, cyan, green, magenta, blah 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 blah. All the colors. Got some other color bars. Some. Okay, this is called ice hockey. Well. Oh, moving. And a spot. You even have. What is this? What is that? I really did not expect to find this. And the blinking the eyes and whatnot. I think with this video, I will say thank you so much for watching. I hope you had just as much fun as I had. See you around. Bye bye.